The loneliness epidemic is very real, but also very weird. Because if you're lonely, all you really have to do is go outside and talk to people, and you start feeling better a lot of the time. But there's all these things that get in the way of it being that simple. Because it really is that simple. Go outside, talk to other humans, you will feel less lonely, generally speaking. Like, mathematically, loneliness means you don't feel connected to other people, and if you talk to other people, you're more likely to feel connected to other people. So what stops us? Why did I spend 5 years not talking to anyone, for example, and then why do I now go out and talk to people so easily? Like, what changed? What flipped? I think for me, a lot of it was just realizing that the internet has replaced what used to happen in real life, but real life is still there. You can still do it. So the internet took a lot of the day-to-day casual interactions that we have, saying hello to people, having small talk, the idea of the water cooler where you go to work and you literally get a cup of water at the water cooler and then someone else also gets water at the same time and you stand there and talk to each other. I think nowadays it's more of a coffee thing. Water cooler is kind of outdated. At the cafeteria, at school, talking to other students. All these times where you just go out and talk to random people, right? As you get older, you have less of those naturally. But there's also something with the internet where the internet has replaced it in a weird way because we get so much casual interaction online that now in real life it feels like everyone's looking down, headphones on, sunglasses on, don't look at me, don't talk to me. But I think that's not as real as people think. It's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everyone's online, everyone's distracted, no one wants to talk in real life, and then like you kind of convince yourself of that and you're just not talking to anyone, right? I had a real big realization recently though, because you can just go out and talk to people and it's so easy. So I guess a lot of people have a fear. There's like a social anxiety around going out and meeting new people. And I realized I don't have this. So when I go out and I talk to someone I don't know, I'm not really scared of that. It doesn't really give me anxiety per se. And so I didn't realize it's a superpower, but I guess it is. So I started going out to the bar recently. I went to a few different bars and just like kind of testing this. And oh man, it is so easy to meet people at a bar. You go sit at the bar, you buy a drink, you sip on your drink, and people are talking and you get pulled into a conversation super easily. All you have to do is not hide from it. If you put your headphones in and look down, then yeah, you're not going to get into any conversations. But like, if I'm sitting at the bar with my head up, looking forward, drinking my drink, or maybe I'm reading a book, but I'm kind of like open, you know, I'm not like putting my face right up against the book, avoiding eye contact. If someone looks at me, I might look back at them for a second. If someone says something interesting right next to me, I might like raise my head and go, oh, what'd you just say? Or like, were you talking about that thing? I'm interested in that thing too. Like, just choosing to open yourself to the possibility of talking to people, it just happens automatically. And I hate to say it, but a bar really is the perfect place for this to happen. You can do it at coffee shops, but it's a lot more awkward. People go to coffee shops, and a coffee shop, you're usually sitting at like a table, or people they really go into laptop mode. They're working, they're trying not to be distracted. You can get into some good conversations at a coffee shop, but it's less automatic. The bar, it's all set up for socialization. That's the whole point. You sit down at the bar. There's lots of different bars. I'm thinking of a bar that's not super loud, not a dance club, not like a party place, but more of like a dive bar kind of scenario. There's music, it might be a little loud, but you can actually talk. Those kinds of bars. The bars where you can't hear yourself talk, they're more like clubs. I don't care about that. That shit sucks. I honestly never want to go to one of those ever again in my life. That shit sucks. But the kind of bar where you can at least somewhat hear yourself talk. And so, like, you know, there'll be like the bar, and there's all the bar stools or the chairs you can sit in, and you usually can't really find a place to get away from everybody. If there's people at the bar, if it's not like empty, then you kind of have to sit in the presence of other people. For one thing, the bartender is right there. You sit at the bar, the bartender is right there. You're like face to face. You're very exposed. You can't avoid it, right? Online, you have your computer. You can never see another person's face. You can just stop responding. In real life at the bar, you're right there, they're right there, you're in each other's presence. You can't like turn away because you're sitting at the bar, you're facing the bar, you're seated. You can't just turn away or like look away. It's very vulnerable, it's very exposed. That's what scares people. That willingness to be in that vulnerable, exposed moment where you're just facing forward, someone else is facing you, and you can't really easily get away right away. You have to at least like say something. Like, that is the moment of awkwardness that stops people from talking to each other in real life. The internet has made it easier to sort of, you can always turn away. Online, you can always turn away. And in real life, putting yourself, like going on a date with someone that your friend sets you up with. You sit down at the table, they sit down, you're there. You can't just walk away unless you make it really awkward. Like, you kind of have to follow through on this thing. Those moments where you commit to a social situation, apparently people are super anxious about this. I'm not. And so I guess that's a superpower. But it kind of solves the whole thing. It's unfortunate that bars are centered around alcohol. They're also kind of expensive. But it's the most clear example of, like, it's not going to work if you go to the fucking library, dude. You can't go to the library. Oh, it's free. Everyone's welcome. Yeah, but you're not going to make a friend at the library. You're not going to meet a girl at the library. You have to go to the bar. You have to go somewhere at night. Coffee shops are okay during the day, but it's still tricky. You make acquaintances, you make friends, but it's kind of hard to convert that into, like, hanging out outside of the coffee shop. You kind of need to go out at night. And yeah. So the moral of the story, I'm rambling. It is so easy to do this. And I just look back at the time when I was super isolated, and it's like, why didn't I do it? But there's another reason. I just remembered the other thing I wanted to say. Another reason I think people who are very lonely have a hard time with this. Another reason people who are lonely don't go out and talk to people is because when you're lonely and when you're isolated, what you want, what a lot of people want, I think, is a close friend. You're feeling broken, sad, tired, whatever, confused, and you want to vent all that to someone, right? And unfortunately, that's just not how it works when you rebuild your social life. And even if you get that, at first it's good, and then it gets weird anyway. Like, you really just need a therapist if what you need to do is vent repeatedly and off. Like, that's what therapy is for, you know? Or you need multiple friends, and you kind of talk to different friends at different times and not always the same person, right? But it's not like you meet one person and they're your new best friend. And so the hard thing coming out of isolation is you have to be okay with the fact that everyone you meet is only going to be an acquaintance at first. Your first friends start out as acquaintances you see once every week or two, and you might really like somebody and you want to hang out again. Worst case, you have romantic feelings. You meet someone you're like crushing on. You feel like you fall in love with somebody and you're like want to hang out with them. That's even worse because you just have to be cool with being very, very casual. And what you want to do at first is not to make one close friend. You certainly don't want to fall in love with the first person you meet. I've already been through all that. And even if they like you back, it doesn't work. That's the thing. It's not about it being awkward. It's like, even if they like you back, it's still not going to work. Because that's, like, I kind of got pulled out of isolation by meeting a girl who I was interested in, and it made me, like, want to go out more. And she was very cool, but it still was just not a healthy dynamic for either of us. In various ways, because it was too much too quick for me, at least, for sure. And so you're really better off making a lot of acquaintances over time and then slowly seeing who becomes a friend. So, like, for me, just for example, I'll be kind of vague so it's not weird, like naming everyone I've met recently, right? But at the coffee shop, there are a bunch of people who I talk to who are interesting, and there's like kind of like the awkward thing, like one dude runs a flower shop, someone else runs an ice cream shop. I know the owner of the coffee shop. I know a pastor who, preaches at the local church right next to the coffee shop. I started going to church there just because he's such a cool guy. I figured I'd go check it out. I've met some people at the church, congregation. All these are people who I have very little in common with. The religious studies stuff I have in common with the pastor and the people who go to the Bible study in the church. I talk to some of the people at the coffee shop, people more close to my age. One of my friends, he's autistic. I talked to him about like how to manage the autism stuff, since I'm pretty sure I'm kind of going through the process of getting diagnosed. I think I might have some autism stuff. And like another friend who's an artist, talk about art stuff with, right? But it's like spread out across a lot of different people. And then I went to the bar the other day and I met the owner of the bar. It's a random dive bar. And I'm talking to some dude for like an hour on and off while I read my book. And it turns out he's one of the owners. So now I met that guy. He was talking about his kids, and I was kind of, I'm like 35. His kids are in their early 20s. He's in his 50s. So I'm kind of like bridging the gap. Like, oh yeah, I do some of the stuff your kids do, but I'm also kind of older. I was talking about it from my perspective, right? Like, I'm going on and on. It's kind of maybe boring, but the point is, these are acquaintances, and this is what building a healthy social life looks like when you've been isolated. For me, after 5 years of extremely online life where I was not hanging out with anybody, I hung out with my friends once in real life across 5 years. Literally. People always think I'm exaggerating. Literally once in 5 years, otherwise only immediate family. And other than that, it was all online. And when I first came out of isolation, I was pursuing a relationship, trying to court someone. We were having a very intense emotional friendship, let's call it, and, you know, ups and downs and drama, and it wasn't good compared to now sort of round two of like, okay, that was a bit weird. I'm going to try the other approach, and it is so much better. When you're just stacking up acquaintances, dozens of acquaintances, that's how you start building your social life. And then naturally, some of them become friends. Like one of my acquaintances from the coffee shop, I drove him to the airport, and we talked for a half an hour on the way to the airport. And now we're more friends and less acquaintances, right? I might go, they do like Renaissance fair style. I might go visit the Ren Fair when they go work there. Like friends, right? That's how it happens. One small step at a time. So those are the two pieces. That could have been two different videos maybe, but I just kind of stuck them together. Two different pieces. One is you can just go outside and talk to people the same way you talk to random people online. You can do it in real life, and it's not that much harder. You just have to be a little more vulnerable. And then number two, rebuilding your social life. Do not try to make best friends. Definitely don't date. Don't even think about it. Stack up acquaintances. Make lots of light connections. And that way you get lots of practice, lots of loose, quick chances to sort of get your awkwardness out. And if you do crash out or overly vent or like trauma dump on someone and they kind of push you away because they're a little uncomfortable, hey, they were only acquaintance. They were only an acquaintance. It wasn't like you just blew it with your new best friend and now they don't like you anymore, right? So some stuff to think about. I'm learning a lot. Love ya. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.